Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and thank you for being here. We so appreciate you being here. We want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you have a voice, you have a community, and you are not alone. Okay? That is huge. Not being alone. Now, to that end, I have an amazing guest today, and his name is Jonny Imerman. He, at 26, okay, get this. He was diagnosed with advanced cancer and went through 2 years of chemo and surgery and all the things. After that experience, he co-founded Imerman Angels, ImermanAngels.org, if you want to check it out. Chicago-based nonprofit that provides free one-on-one peer cancer support for just thousands of families dealing with cancer every year in over 115 countries. Unbelievable. Jonny also co-founded closetalk.com, which we will talk about in just a minute, which creates web stores and designs logoed apparel for over 500 nonprofits. Ours is one of them. He's awesome. I can't wait for you guys to meet this guy. We're actually working with him right now with Hydro with Hope. So it's pretty cool. He lives in New York City and is currently a board director for 7 nonprofit organizations, because he's got all the spare time, and describes himself as a peaceful vegan, a workout addict, meditator, extrovert, and single with no kids. So that's kind of fun. I mean, why not? So, all right, Jonny, come on, man. Let's get you on here. Jonny, good morning, man.
Jeff, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for having me, man. And listen, your story I know inspires many, including me. So love that you're doing this. Love that you're opening up such stories for a lot of people.
I appreciate it, man. This is so cool. It always amazes me how it never ceases to surprise me, actually, how crazy the connections we have with, this person that leads you to that person, that leads you to that person. And then you look back over, a week or a month or a year and go, oh man, look at all these cool connections. Right. And I don't even know where half of them come from, but it's so cool. And I'm so glad that we got connected, because this is great. So, but okay. So I want to just throw this out here, because cancer is not always invisible, right? But it usually starts out that way. Can you just share with us just a little bit about your story and kind of how cancer for you was initially discovered, and like what impact that had, and how you kind of handled that at first?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Jeff. It's not always invisible. It starts that way. I agree. It does start that way in the very beginning. my cancer, I had testicular cancer when I was 26 years old.
Hmm.
And once I found it, my doctor said it could have been in there anywhere from probably 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, maybe even like 4.5 years. And you just don't know it, right? It's growing in you the whole time. I felt fine. Even the day I was diagnosed, like that was the only day that I didn't feel fine. So it can be invisible for a period of time. And then obviously with some cancers, you have tumors. So if you have a physical tumor in the body, of course, that's not invisible. Although to us on the outside, it's still invisible.
Sure.
Yeah. And then you have blood cancers and things like that, like leukemias, multiple myelomas. Those are kind of always invisible because they're literally in the blood. They're just, they're not, there's no physical tumor. And multiple myeloma can be really deadly. But yeah, the goal is with a lot of these diseases, and I'm sure a lot of people that you talk to, it can be invisible in the beginning. The goal is to get checked, I think, on a regular basis, to have someone you see who checks your blood, looks in your eyes, looks in your ears, feels your body, feels for lumps or bumps. I mean, that is definitely the best way to find things early when things can be invisible in the beginning.
Totally. God, so 2 years of chemo and surgeries, like, how did you, so you had that, how did you go about building like a support system? You must have had a huge, like an amazing support system.
I really did. I did, Jeff. The most amazing mom who was there every minute of every chemo. My brother's my best friend. He was always there. My friends were supportive. I had a lot of love and support around me, but I did feel that during treatment, again, this is 2001, I was 26. And in those days, social media was definitely not what it is today.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anybody who was a survivor of anything, really. And definitely no one young. And so at the very end of all the chemos and the surgeries, a group of young survivors and I got together and we randomly met at the hospital at the end. And we're like, hey, don't we all agree that we wish we would have known each other from the start, not the end, because there's so much to share or learn from each other and sort of fight even side by side. Like there's ways to help each other, but the cancer world can be very isolated. And people can be very siloed in their own room or their own area. And so what we created was this nonprofit, as you mentioned, called Imerman Angels. And the whole goal is that there's an angel, there's a survivor who's been there and gotten through it, who wants to give back and be a volunteer mentor for somebody sick today. So anyone, any age, any race, any religion, any age, any cancer level, wherever you are in the world, if you're a human being, it's free, always free. We can introduce you to the next best survivor that we know, and we're constantly recruiting more survivors, more survivors. We got to build this community from 14,000 strong, but we really have to build it to hopefully 14 million one day. They're out there. We just want to get in the game.
And bless you. Is it ImermanAngels.org?
You got it.
Okay.
ImermanAngels.org. If anyone forgets that, if you type in one-on-one cancer support, it'll pop up right away because Google gives us what's called a Google grant, and we're able to get free keywords, almost free, that we pop up very high.
That is something that we are in the infant stages of doing for Hydra with Hope. So I'm totally excited that you are having benefit with that, because I'm excited about that too. That's going to be really cool. So I'm excited that Google does that, like that they for nonprofits. That's really cool. Anybody that's interested in that, I have a contact for you too. So just reach out to me. I'll hook you up. He's amazing. But no, that's really cool. And you said it's grown. Like, how big is this? Like, Imerman Angels is how big?
Over 14,000 cancer survivors in about 115 countries. Like you said, they're just great people. They live all over the world. They speak all different sorts of languages. We have some survivors, Jeff, in like Switzerland that speak, 6 languages.
Oh yeah.
And they're very versatile as a mentor because they can get plugged in with somebody, who's, speaking this language or that language with the same cancer. And we just find them, they're out there. They want to help. There's no glory. They're not paid. These are volunteers that do it.
Yeah.
but because they're so grateful that they lived through their cancer and they want to find something purposeful and something positive and something meaningful, they volunteer with us. And that's the goal. They can give back and help the next person with cancer.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh man. Yeah, because you have to have, I mean, as I said at the beginning of the show, it's all about the community, man. You gotta, because especially when it's invisible, like cancer, like hydrocephalus, like fibromyalgia, or what I mean, there's so many, hundreds of them out there, thousands of them. It can almost feel like it is in your head and you are all alone, and you're the only one that, depending on the day, right? It's a day-to-day thing. So
it absolutely is that. Yeah. Day-to-day thing. We coach that all the time in the cancer space, Jeff. Everyone's situation is different. You're going to have highs and you're going to have lows, and you're going to have days where you're like, I can't believe this is happening to me, and I feel sick every day in a row. Is this ever going to get better again? Almost you forget what it's like to feel good. I'm sure you relate. And then, lo and behold, things get better and you start to feel more coherent and happier. And it's just a riding the ups and downs of the waves of these health conditions.
Totally. Oh man, it is. And it's so hard to find grace with yourself and with others when you're constantly in pain, right? I don't know if you can relate to that, but when you're right, am I crazy? Yeah. I mean, that's it's almost like you have to be okay with it to not lash out at people, like it's like, do you not understand what we're going through? But they don't. So you have to have that grace,
You're exactly right. That's what we think, sort of, right? Like, don't you get this? But they really don't, because they've never lived through it. That's exactly right. It's funny, right. But it's true.
Well, they've never lived through it and they can't see it.
Yeah.
That's the kicker, It's like that's like adds a layer,
It does.
So, so tell us more about the like what. I think I know the answer to this, and maybe you've already talked about it, so forgive me, but what Imerman Angels, like, where did that come from? Like, usually people that are going through stuff like that is like, I just need to get through it and put the blinders on and, survive, and here you created this organization. Like, what was the inspiration there?
I'll say we're all co-founders. I feel like together, it took a team. It was a team of survivors together that were like, we can make a difference. We can help people. And we realized quickly, like you said, if you build community and we build this network of thousands, hopefully one day millions of survivors, like that's how we're really going to, be game changers and make the biggest difference. Because we don't know, in an hour from now, somebody in Miami could call us with stage 2 colon cancer. And then in 3 hours from now, somebody in LA calls us with brain cancer. And then, tomorrow at noon, somebody in Paris signs up on our website and it's a woman with stage 3 breast cancer. So as they come into us and find us, then we have to look at the community and say, well, here's the best person for you. And let's make that introduction and give them a heads up and give you a heads up. It's very gentle how we introduce the two, but it's always one-to-one. It's not a group support. We partner with other groups that do group support, but we're big believers. Like, we own our lane. We do one thing only. It's cancer, and it's one-on-one, and that's it. But we don't know who's going to find us and need help. So we're never stop recruiting more survivors. But as crazy as this sounds, Jeff, we built the community one person at a time. We wore T-shirts. We talked to people. We did speeches at local high schools. And somebody would say at the high school, hey, my mom's a survivor. She could be a mentor. She could help out. And boom, now we got another person. And you're just going to talk to the kids at high school just to teach them really about, how to check themselves, like what to do. I'm sorry about the siren. This is unfortunately New York City.
I wasn't outside my window, was it? No, it was yours. Okay.
Right. Sorry. This is definitely New York City.
You can't control that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes. But to your question, you're exactly right. You start with a small group and you just keep talking to people. And I'm a big believer, awareness is the number one need for nonprofits. If more people are aware of a mission, there are people from so many different sides of it who will get involved and help. For us, the number one most important side was always the survivors. Like, we need you to join us in order to help more people.
Right? Yeah, totally. I mean, because that's where the most genuine, that's like where the most, that's where the most people are going to want to help, because they're already going through it, right? They're in it. So you don't have to sell them on it. They want to help already, So yeah, totally. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna put something else. Where is it? I'm gonna put one more thing on the screen, and we're gonna talk about this more in the second segment, but I'm doing it now because I want people that are watching to click on that, scan that QR code or type in that web address and go there now. And then when we come back from, we're going to go to a break in a couple minutes here. And after we come back, I want to talk about this, because this is really cool. And this is where you're making a huge impact here. And I know that, first of all, just quickly, like, we got a couple minutes left and then we're going to go to a break, but where did this one come from? Like, where did the inspiration for this come from?
Yeah, with Close Talk, the inspiration of that was basically what we saw from Imerman Angels. So when we created Imerman Angels, sorry, another siren here. Apologies. New York City is being true to its name today, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, man.
Yeah, there's another one.
There goes another one.
There's another one. But, we learned, Jeff, when we got our friends to wear our T-shirts at the gym, walking their dog in the street, in the city, gardening, doing anything, going to a concert, a show, a baseball game, whatever it is, going to your kid's soccer game. The more we got our friends to wear a T-shirt with Imerman Angels on it, it started to create these conversations. And people started to say, well, what is that? Who are the Angels? What does that mean? And it was such a natural to connect people at the core. It brought people together. And then people would ask, we're like, oh, well, you want to know? It's my favorite charity, actually. And I'm a cancer survivor. And this is what we do. And those conversations helped us grow awareness on the ground. And then later we said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take that same concept. Let's do it for all nonprofits. All the ones that we think are great and doing great things, we're going to help them. We learn the tools. Black and white is kind of the secret sauce, just the logo, simple, clean, clear. You want to make people think like, well, what is that? Like, what is that? Versus putting a tagline or a mission statement, or, even company sponsors on the shirt will really damage it. It just won't work as well. And so we want it very clean, clear, and cool. And of course, on a high quality shirt, and then inspiring people to say, hey, whatever cause is your favorite cause, that's cool. Pick it, get their T-shirt. We'll sell it to you, wear it, love it, talk about it. You're going to make connections and meet people, but you're going to spread the word for the cause as well.
Nice. I love it. That's really cool. And we're going to get into more of that in the second segment, because I think the more we're going to talk about a little more, because there's more to it than it's really simple, but there's more to it than that. So we're going to dive into that, but let's, I'm going to just go to a break real quick, and should be gone for just a couple commercials, and to spread the word about some friends that we like, and that's doing some awesome stuff. And so we're going to do that, and then we'll be back, and we'll see everybody. Where'd the button go? There it is. And we'll see you in just a couple minutes. Stick around, everybody. Don't go anywhere.
Does your to-do list have you feeling stressed? Does your list include tasks like responding to email and phone calls, collecting forms and paperwork, and sending quotes and invoices? Have you been neglecting posting updates to your social media accounts, email newsletters, or content on your website? Maybe you need help to get digitally organized. I'm Selena, one of the owners at Office Mercenary, and we're a US-based virtual assistant agency. We can take care of all of these tasks and more, so you can get back to focusing on the things you love about your business. Our team is happy to work with you and your individual needs. So schedule a call with us, bring your to-do list, and stop doing the tedious tasks.
Eva Baca Kearns here, and I am the host of One Punch Superstars, where we meet real people who chose to fight for their hopes and their dreams and become the champions of their destiny. You can find us on Achieve TV every Tuesday and Wednesday at noon Mountain Standard Time, right here on E360 TV.
Awesome. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Thanks for coming back. Jonny, appreciate it. This is awesome. This is cool, man. I don't remember when we found each other, but the concept of what you're doing with Close Talk is just awesome. And I'm just going to throw this out here. If anybody has any questions about fundraising or for like a nonprofit, or questions about cancer support, or anything that Jonny's talking about today, reach out. We're going to have here, I'm going to put this QR code back up here, and this is the best place to find Jonny, right here. And just reach out, and he will schedule a call with you, or phone call or Zoom call or whatever. He's one of the most accessible people I know. So even though he's busy, you guys are always busy, man. You guys are like hopping, but
we're always moving around. But it's like you find a way. You feel the same way. The work that you do and we do, they're good people trying to do good things for other people outside themselves. So we're always gonna find time.
Right. Exactly. You always find time for what's important, right? So
that's right.
Man. So I just wanted to ask about one other thing with Close Talk. I think you said there's a B Corp. Is it B Corp? Am I saying that right?
It's a B Corporation, a certified B Corporation, that a nonprofit called B Lab, B space LAB. There's over 100 people that work there. It's actually a pretty big nonprofit now. Nice. It started in 2009. And they certify businesses. So not nonprofits, but they certify businesses like a company to basically the highest level of social impact. Like, you gotta help nonprofits. You gotta be eco-conscious. You gotta lower your footprint. You should have a workforce that everyone doesn't look the same. It's a mix of different types of people, which I think benefits everyone. And you're trying to make the world better. The mission has to be something that makes the world better. And there's about 7,000 Jeff now in the world, only about 2,500 in the US. So the other 4,500 or so, 5,000 are all over the world.
Oh my goodness. And what is there like a certain site that you go, or like you said?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's bcorporation.net. The letter B, corporation.net. Anyone wants to check it out, you can see all the certified B Corps there. You can read about them. You can reach out to them through the website. But it's really a cool movement where it's basically saying, let's have more conscious businesses. Let's run a business, but let's be very careful about our footprint. If we're in the coffee business, we're not making single-use coffee containers that have a bunch of plastic in them. You use them once, and then you throw them out, and it goes in the landfill. The B Corps are really trying to be more green, solve more social problems, and do it as ethically and transparently as possible. One example that helped us become a B Corp, our T-shirts, for example, which is our number one selling item. There's 4 recycled water bottles, at least 4 in every T-shirt. So, we want to reduce the amount of plastics that are going back into the universe. It's not perfect, but it is a mix of polyester and cotton. But the plastics, there are some recycled water bottles in every shirt, just so that way we know we're not adding more. We're adding a little bit less to the what's out there.
Nice. Well, and that's, cotton polyester. I mean, say what you want about, I know a lot of people are like, no, 100% cotton because it's all it's softer or whatever. I don't think so, man. My wife swears by that cotton polyester blend, man. It is so soft, man. Oh, and it doesn't shrink as much. And it's, yeah. So, and then if you can recycle some stuff in there, that's even better. I love that. That's really cool.
I'm glad she likes it. That's how we feel. If it's not really high quality and fits people well and soft, it's got to be the best. If it's not, then they won't wear it. And our whole model, we measure success at the end of the day. Like, how often are people wearing it? Do they care about the cause? Are they talking about it? Like, that's what we're trying to do. Otherwise, we would have, just gone and worked, made t-shirts for companies or somebody else, right? So people have to love it in order for them to wear it. And we agree. The cotton poly mix is by far, we think, the most comfortable.
100%. I mean, I've got some t-shirts from other I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but they get, you get these fundraisers and stuff, and then you get these t-shirts, and some of them can stand up and walk out of the room on their own.
That's very funny.
I mean, like I said, not going to mention any names, but but yeah, it's got to be comfortable, and nobody's going to wear it. And if they don't wear it, then your message isn't being spread. And if your message isn't being spread, impact isn't happening. So yeah, that comes down to that. So that's, comfort is good. So, oh man. So what kind of nonprofits do you, I mean, you said you have what'd you say, over 500?
We have just now 500. We're getting close to 500 now, and they're coast to coast, Jeff. So some are in LA, a lot are in the Midwest. Chicago is a big one for us, Detroit too. Now that I moved to New York 2 years ago, we're getting a lot more on the East Coast, New York, New Hampshire, all the way down to Virginia Beach. We have a bunch in Florida also. So they can be anywhere, obviously Colorado, and we're slowly trying to fill in the whole U.S. where people can go to our site and they can search by any state and find a cause that speaks to them and say, that's cool. I love what they're doing. I want to get their shirt. I want to be a part of this, and I want to rep the brand. That's our mission.
What about international? Just out of curiosity, I know some folks in Europe that would probably be drooling over this if I tell them about it.
We don't yet. It's a good question, Jeff. Right now we're really trying to own the U.S. first and get this coast to coast here in the U.S. But then eventually we'd love to take the model. We're getting better at it every year, and we're trying to make the shipping time. It's about 5 days from order to arrival. Make that faster every year. We're always tweaking the model, but eventually there will be a point where we'd love to take more nonprofits out of Canada, out of Mexico, Europe, other places, and be able to, work with them too.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I say that because I've had organizations on the show that I would love to tell about you, but I wanted to make sure I asked you that first because one of them's in France, one of them's in Canada, one of them's in South Africa, I think. So it's all over the place. So you got to, but I get it. Saturate the U.S. in a good way. I say that. Saturate's not the right word. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Spread the word. Get it all over. Get it state to state, coast to coast in the U.S. Right. and then we'll go international. That's cool. I love it. So just out of curiosity, going back to Imerman Angels here for a second, has that that's like peer support, like 1-to-1, right? Is there been like approaches that you've like introduced that maybe have proven particularly effective in like helping cancer families? Because that's a big deal. Like, how are you doing that? Like, what does it look like?
Totally. It's a great question. We actually have a whole training program. So when Steve Smith in Colorado, who beat stage 3 colon cancer, comes to Imerman Angels, we have a training manual that we give to Steve, to-dos and not to-dos when you're mentoring somebody. It's pretty common sense, Jeff. And you and I, we get it. Most people get it, but you have to do it just so nobody feels that they're thrown in there and they don't really know what to do. So it's just kind of like a little bit of guidelines. If the person says this, you might want to say that. If they, there are certain situations where you want to train and coach them that if they become suicidal, you have a duty really to tell the medical professionals, or to tell someone, right? Because I think most people know that, but we want to make sure that they know how to handle that situation. And sometimes, as you and I both know, when you have these medical challenges, sometimes you get to a dark place and you think it's never going to get better, and someone may think about taking their own life. We also talk to everybody on the phone. So there's a on the phone training or Zoom, or they come into the office if they're local. And then on top of that, we connect with everybody. Once they're trained and ready to go, they're in the network of Angels. And then when somebody's diagnosed with cancer and finds us, and we get to know them, and then we look through our database and we say, okay, we know somebody in St. Louis that's a perfect match for this person. We tell both sides about the other one. We make a very easy email. We encourage the survivor to be the one to reach out first, which generally they get that. They're there to help. They're a volunteer mentor. But they usually, we don't really have a problem with that, but it's kind of nice to coach them to be the first one to reach out. And we make a nice email intro. And then we tell everybody, look, if you have trouble connecting or any questions for us at any time, just either side, just call us. We have a team of 16 now full-time people, and more than half the team works on the program side, which is the mentoring side. So that's the most important piece, of course.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That, you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's another organization that I know of that does it very similar. That's really cool. Not everybody does that. It's some of them are just it's not that organized. So well done. You reminded me of another national nonprofit that I was talking to a few months ago, and it was like a vetting. It was almost like a vetting. You're not going to kick them out or whatever, but it's like it's more like vetting. Like who should we match you up with? And it
is vetting. Well, to your point, there are some people. It is vetting, Jeff. There are some people that have mental illness. That's why we talk to everybody and we wish them well, but we don't want to put them in with somebody who's really vulnerable and really sick to connect with. So in that case, we really help guide them to get other resources for their mental health. But we have to talk to everybody. We got to know who they are because we're promising somebody sick that this is a stable, reliable, authentic cancer survivor. And I never thought about this stuff till we've been doing this now for almost 20 years. Right. But we've even had people, this is going to sound crazy, I know, to you and to everybody, but we've even had people call up sometimes and making up that they had cancer in the first place. One situation was somebody who was a woman who was trying to get her ex back. So she told the ex that she had cancer and it wasn't true. And then he calls us and now we're helping her. And then it comes up that it wasn't really true, but she was lying to him. But then we, of course, are, scrambling to help and get involved. So there are people out there that for a lot of different reasons, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen where there's a mental illness or there's lying involved. So we got to filter that. You really do have to vet.
Well, because that comes back on you too. That could have legal repercussions if it went too far. That situation, right, you were just talking about, could have gotten really ugly really quick. Oh man, that's unbelievable that people would do that. But I understand. There's, it takes all kinds. So
that's the truth. That's the truth. And then you got some of these people who, sadly, we've had a few who are depressed and they don't have anyone to talk to. This is another problem in our country, right?
Yeah.
With the isolation and people are separated and they don't have a connection. So they could lie and say, yeah, I have this cancer or I'm a survivor of this, just because they want to talk to other people, just to talk. And it's a bigger problem really out there, the isolation, but that has definitely happened also. And that's another reason why somebody can make it up that they have it. So we learned right away, our head of our medical advisory board from the very beginning, who's an MD, he ran Northwestern's Cancer Center in Chicago for years. And he said, we got to talk to everybody. We got to get to know them. We got to ask them questions. We got to make sure that they're authentic. And if we don't feel that they're real or authentic or there's something off, then we got to look a little deeper. So he really taught us that lesson in the beginning to make sure we minimize risk and make sure we're getting the right people as mentors.
And that's for the mentors, or do you do that also a little bit with the people calling in?
Both sides.
Or,
We talk
like
to both sides.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very personal. As we like to say, Jeff, we are the analog and not the digital. We talk to everybody. It takes longer, but you get to know them. On the side of the person that's sick with cancer, you got to ask them questions. What are you going through? What are your fears? Do you want to talk more about the side effects? Do you want to talk more about, okay, you're 19 years old, you're a college student, now you're bald and you're a girl. That's hard. Do you just want to connect with somebody who's also knows what it's like to be young and a girl in college with cancer? Or do you want to talk specific about this drug, Temidar? There's so many different reasons that people reach out to us to connect.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just isolated. They're just alone and they don't have family or friends. But that's part of what we need to do is talk to them on the side that are sick, get to know them, understand what they're going through in order to find the best match, but also understand where their fears are, what's really spinning in their minds. And then we're going to find the best connection for them.
Yeah, sorry, I keep looking over here because I keep writing people down that I need to introduce you to. I just wrote down 3 names. I'm like, oh, yep, Jonny needs to meet this person and this person and this person. You got my wheels turning now, man. This is good. Yeah, awesome. So do you have like counselors that you work with, like when people hit like that wall of and they start to just break down and stuff, or do you is that where you kind of shift out of what you do and kind of refer them to somebody, or how does that, because I can imagine that happens too.
It does. And it's the latter, Jeff. We have learned when it's over the head of our survivors and they really need deeper support, it's more than we can do. We remind them, and a lot of them don't know this. At every cancer center, there's at least one social worker. It's like ask for the social worker. And again, they're overworked in many cases. It's not a perfect system. They have so many patients, with all your medical stuff that you've been through, but they are there. In cases, where they can afford it, that's the ideal, where you can get a social worker, a therapist help you through it. But that's what we do. And we tell people in a nice way, we want to help you, but we think right now, which is more important, that you connect with a therapist that really can work with you on a deeper level. We tell them flat out, which is true. We are not licensed counselors. We're not licensed therapists. We're not PhDs. We're not licensed even social workers, but we're people who've been there who want to help you. But there are certain situations that are just above and beyond what our people are able to do.
Well, and recognizing that is kind of important. You gotta.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to know when it's over your head, and be smart enough to admit that that's where you're at, and then refer to somebody else. Yeah, that's important. So that's because they're well-meaning, but you can go too far, and then you've almost made it worse. So that's huge. Well, yeah, man. All right. Here's the deal. Time marches on and we're at another break. So I feel like this is a good time to do that. And I'm going to take this down off the screen here. And thank you, Jonny. Thank you for doing this, man. This is so cool. I hope you guys are getting something out of this because this is a man with a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge and a huge resource. So if you haven't reached out to him yet, why not? You should reach out to him. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to one more break, and then we're going to come back for our last segment. And so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
In a world where office workers typically receive 130 daily emails and have an 8-second attention span, CoreCentrica, with her 4 decades of international marketing experience, has partnered with the Learning Code Institute and their 30 years of neuroscientific research. Together, we are crafting unique messaging strategies that resonate, connect, and ultimately convert our target audiences. CoreCentrica. where award-winning creativity and disruptive neuroscience come together. Scan this code now, or call and click, and let us show you how Core Centrica's partnership with the Learning Code Institute is influencing how businesses connect with their audience, foster engagement, and achieve conversions.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Right. Welcome back, everybody. And time flies, man. We only have a few minutes left, but I can't wait. Okay. I have a question that I like to ask everybody, and I know I'm going to get it. I know I get good answers out of everybody, but I know I'm going to get a good one out of you because just, it's a good one. So looking back over everything you've been doing with between the cancer and the nonprofit and Close Talk and all the things that you've been doing that are amazing, that are helping so many people on those hard days, though, on the days that it's hard to keep going. Where do you find your hope?
Great question, Jeff. And I'd love to hear your answer to this too. Love learning from other people how they do it, because there are hard days being an entrepreneur, as you know. And as a founder, as you know, it is not easy, but it's so rewarding. It's definitely rewarding. What helps me the most, and I like seeing some of the commercials you had on here, because it's very consistent what I'm going to say with some of the commercials, especially the woman who coaches wellness. But I'm a big believer, the way you stay positive and fight through the rough days. I meditate every single day, at least every morning, and then sometimes in the afternoon too. So meditation daily, exercise and workout just about every day. I used to do every day, and now I'm getting older. I'm 48. Now I'm usually 2 or 3 days on, 1 day off. I got to have a little bit of an off day, otherwise the shoulder gets sore and all that. So but exercise, no doubt about it, helps. Sleep is a tough one for me, but when I get 7 hours plus, I feel like a different person. I mean, it really helps. I think you relate to that too.
Yeah.
And I would also say just making time for fun. Like, to me, that's seeing friends. It's going to a long dinner with a good group of people and just sharing good conversation, talk about positive things. A lot of my friends work in social impact, so it's really nice. Like, they care. We all care. We have a social impact meetup in New York City on Thursday, which I'm excited about. A group of us all getting together. And so, to me, if I'm doing those things and staying healthy, I would also say diet. I forgot to say diet. Eating well, eating the right foods, the body should naturally have more energy, feel better. Those type of things, I power through the tough days a lot easier when I'm checking those boxes.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. I can relate to a lot of that. Yeah. It's especially in the last few years. Yeah. They're definitely, the first 36 years of being on this planet were pretty easy. And it's just been in the last 10 where it's kind of ramped up, and it's given me a new perspective on a lot of other people that are whether it's my condition, hydrocephalus, or something else. has given me a lot more perspective on what, what hard days look like, because we've definitely had some over the last few years. And so for me, you asked what my answer would be for that. I appreciate that. My answer is, well, first and foremost, I'm a Jesus follower. I'm a Christian. So we lean on prayer and the Bible and other people in our community that are of like mind to pray for each other, to pray for us to pray for them. So there's power in that helps you, feel better just knowing that you're bringing somebody else's needs before the throne of God, and it's huge. And so that's number one. But number two is it's just staying in touch with the community of people that can relate to what you're going through. And it doesn't even have to be the same condition, man. I mean, I've got so many friends. I mean, these conditions are everywhere. I know so many people that are silently struggling with things. And so just being able to sit down and have coffee with them, like you're saying, have a gathering, and getting together with them and just talking about what went right today, what's awesome in your life right now, because I mean, complaining, you get about a minute of that with me, and then because I don't even like to do it. I mean, my wife has to beat it out of me sometimes. I know you're not feeling good. Tell me what's going on, because I try to stay positive because it just helps everybody around you. So, but yeah, I think that's most of that for me too. So it's yeah. And one other question that's along with that is, what do you find yourself being thankful for every day?
Well, thank you for sharing that. Those are all great positive things. And I mean, we need faith. We definitely need faith in life.
100%.
If you don't think that there's something bigger or there's something more connected than us, I think it's going to be hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. I don't understand the people that have faith in themselves.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. There's always something bigger. So
yes.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But yeah.
I do agree. Faith is a huge part. And what was the last question? I apologize.
No, it's okay. When you're going through all this, similar to the hope aspect of it, it's always cool to focus on something you're thankful for, right? That always helps too. So what do you, when you need to do that, what's your go-to for, I'm thankful for blank?
Yeah, I am very thankful to wake up in the morning most days. I have my moments, but most days I do. And I feel so similar to you, Jeff, where you're like, oh, yeah, before 36, as you say, it was like, I didn't even know how good I had it. For me, it was 26, but I relate to exactly what you mean. I mean, it was like, it really wasn't that hard before comparatively to what we know now. So I think it's easier to have a sense of gratitude. And then when you see other people with hydrocephalus like you do to help them, I see so many people with cancer like I've been through, and you're like, wow, like what some of these people have to live through and go through. I don't think there's any other way to deal with that than to be thankful that we're alive and that we're here and that we get tomorrow, or at least we have today. You may never know about tomorrow, but at least this moment, right? This moment, we're here, we're alive. Like if you're healthy and your family's healthy, and life should be, you got to be grateful, find a way to be grateful for that. But there's no doubt about it. Somebody said to me years ago, the number one reason Imerman Angels works is the gratitude of cancer survivors. And I really thought about it, and I was like, you know what? They're right. Like if the survivors weren't grateful, if they didn't recognize that they could have died easily and not made it, many people don't make it, they wouldn't give back, right? The gratitude is the driver. And so to me, that gets me kind of fired up. It makes me more grateful. I think it helps them. I think everybody benefits when you get together for purpose and positivity and humans helping humans. And gratitude's kind of like that cornerstone of all that.
100%. I love it. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. We got way more in common than I thought, man. This is good. See, this is why I love doing these kind of shows, because you always learn about the person, and you go, I mean, we've had conversations in the past, but yeah, the more I talk to you and the more I, learn about you, we're right on the same page, man. On a lot of stuff. It's awesome.
Likewise.
So we got about 2 or 3, maybe 3 minutes left before we gotta go. But in that time, do you have any last words you want to leave the audience with, or do you have like a short story, like a super impactful thing, or that happened with one of your folks that you helped? Or it's all yours. Go for it.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for asking that. I would say this, the Jeff Pearsons of the world, I'm sure the other people that you bring on the show, I would just encourage everybody to listen to their stories. Like, you've been through so much. You've had 14 surgeries. Is that right? For hydrocephalus?
15 surgeries. 7 of them have been brain surgeries. So they've all been related, though. Yeah, right. They've all been related to hydrocephalus.
I mean, if people can't be inspired by you and your work and your power to take that and turn it into good, to share it and help other people, I mean, I don't know what else is going to inspire people, but that's what I really, really would love to see more people do, is to really dig into these stories, listen to the Jeff Pearsons of the world, ask questions, get educated what they go through. And the goal is that more people, I think, can live life grateful, back to gratitude. They can live grateful without having to go through it, without living through all the 15 surgeries and the 7 brain surgeries, or like me, 2 years of chemo and surgeries, and move back in with my mom. She's driving me to chemo 8 hours a day, every day. I mean, that whole experience, there's so much good that comes out of it, but it's really hard, just like yours was too, I know, Jeff. And so I think I just encourage people to say, hey, there's these people out there, there's stories out there, listening to a show like this as much as you can, learning what people go through. I think it's going to give everyone more perspective on how life can be really tough for a lot of people, but how to also how these people are using it to help other people. And that's a good lesson, I think, for everyone to learn. Even in the roughest situations, there's always a way to turn it into something positive to help others. And that's the challenge, right? How do we figure out what it is? You're living it. You're doing it with Hydro for Hope. You're using your story and your openness to help other people and make the families of those affected better. And so that's a good lesson, I think, too, that we sort of task other people in a nice way, is to say, hey, you're going to go through hard times too. It might be very different than Jeff's and Johnny's, but what are you going to do with it? Are you going to go inward and just think, woe me, and my life's terrible? Or are you going to say, I want community. I want to connect with others. Let's discuss, how do we help other people? How do we work together? How do we create unity? How do we build a movement to change the space? That's the real way we all come together, and we also do more good. That's the win-win, I think, here.
Totally. Yes. When you're not so inward and you're thinking of what you can do to help other people. And that's why I was so excited to have you on the show, because that is exactly what you're doing. And so thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for what you're doing for Hydro with Hope. I mean, we're everybody, we're doing it too. We've got our website getting revamped right now, and that is going to be a link on our website to go to a section where you can get stuff just like that cool shirt that Johnny's wearing. We're going to have ones that say Hydro with Hope on them, and all kinds of fun stuff so that people can go and do that. So that's a cool shirt, man. You guys do a really good job of designing that stuff and doing it in a way that is impactful, and it's visually really cool. And everybody knows a nonprofit. Everybody knows. I mean, we're in Colorado Springs, Colorado. You can't throw a rock in 10 feet without hitting 3 nonprofits here. So point them to Johnny. I mean, they need to know about them. They need to know about what they're doing. So anyway, thank you, John. Thank you, Johnny, for being here. I so appreciate you and what you're doing, and I hope maybe you got to come back another time. I mean, this is great. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And again, thank you for your openness. I mean, you lead by example. And those are the people that I love being around. They take something hard and they turn it into good for other people. And you heal along the way. And you're doing that, as you know, and I know we heal ourselves through service, right? And you're living it every day, man. So thanks for being the leader. And I'm excited to see what Hydro is going to continue to do.
Awesome. Thank you, man. We'll talk again soon for sure.
Awesome. Look
All
forward.
right. Okay, everybody. We are out of time. Unfortunately, it goes so fast every time. I don't know why. It's gone. Fastest hour of your life. So if you have a favorite episode, if this is your favorite episode after you see it, share it. It's probably somebody else's too. So, and if it's not yet, it might if you share it. So share your episode, share your favorite episode out, and spread the word. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And join us for our next show, which will be Tuesday, March 12th. And we will look forward to seeing you then. Until then, have an amazing day. And yeah, we'll see you soon.